So I'm going to splice these videos together today because I wanted to show, I got a little into this area that has some more bright lights and big city action. Kind of pretty in the video. Look at that screen, it's amazing. But I guess I had a few more things to say too about development. I have this feeling, and now I can't really prove it, but it's this kind of underlying assumption. It's so funny, I'll get back to what I was going to say, but I was looking at these. I tend to try to keep in touch with the 9/11 developments because I think that's just such a critical issue. But I posted it online today, but I saw this, 2001 was like 17 years ago. It's amazing how fast it goes. It's quite even more amazing that 99% of the American public still believe the stupid story. But my point, I guess, is that it was a pretty good video. A lot of the old footage from 2001 looks kind of grainy and dated, but this one looked really sharp, and it really showed you the towers and then the imaginary planes that didn't hit the towers, and the guy that was photographing all of them were saying that there were no planes and it was just a explosion like a bomb, and he kept insisting on that. You should look at that video. There was no planes. They had the camera on the buildings the whole time, and there was no planes. A lot of people jumping out of the buildings, so a lot of people died, of course. Real tragedy. But that's one of the reasons we need to get some better justice for that issue, because you just can't let your government do that, or a foreign government really, but it was a combination of Israel and America. But my point about development, and then I saw this old Pentagon shot and I realized what a dinosaur building that is, and just looks like a big prison complex. Prison complex for the military complex, which really expresses their imagination, which is about nil. And but it's real dinosaur. It's just a piece of concrete and steel, and of course there was no airplane that hit that. The airplane would never be able to penetrate the Pentagon. Got to be crazy to believe that. But they would have been, if a plane actually was able to fly that low, which it's not, it would have left wreckage. All of the plane would have been on the outside, and none of it would have penetrated that fortress. But the building itself, what a dinosaur. What a dinosaur that is. It's just a nightmare of a old building built in the 60s or 50s or whatever. But I'm sure they want to get rid of it somehow, because it doesn't look very dynamic. So I'm surprised they didn't try to blow the whole thing up, but I guess they couldn't really pull that one off without a plane. But my point about development, I guess, and I always wondered why America never really, let me go around here. I'm trying to go over to this mall, but I gotta find a crosswalk. I'll go inside the mall and show you guys. But I always wondered why America hadn't really developed in my lifetime, They say we're the biggest economy in the world, but nothing really happens. I lived in Tucson, I was around Seattle, and they built a couple new buildings in Seattle, but they could never get the public transportation in order for all. They've been talking about it for years. Phoenix is kind of modern, but it's pretty boring architecture and not much imagination, and nothing really like Asia. And but I think the rest of the small mid-level towns, they don't really see. You see a bunch of cheap architecture, thrown together, overblown California-style houses. The ones that are burning up in the Dew fire there. But I just think that they know that there's going to be a war, and they don't really want to put too much investment in it, because they want to do that after everything's destroyed. Just give me a little warning there. I know you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm also very informed, and I've researched this a lot from books and a lot of credible sources. Nice fountain here. I'm just going to walk right into this mall, and then I'm going to finish up my thoughts about Asia and the lack of development I've seen in my lifetime in America. I haven't visited most cities in America. I've been to New York, Chicago, spent a lot of time in Chicago. My dad's family's from Chicago. I've been to a lot of America, LA and San Francisco. San Francisco is a good example of what I'm talking about. It's sort of, it's a nice city, but it's like, it's caught in the historical preservation, and there's really not much history there. You know, you go back late 1800s, but that's what they think history is supposed to be, that the last part of the 1800s, and that's what they're stuck on. But I think there's something else going on there. I think that's just my theory about that. All right, well, here's the mall. You know, I think this is the big towers. I was here before. Oh, maybe not. No, maybe not. Anyway, I'm not sure what mall this is, but Asia, they got some great shopping centers. I'm not really a shopping center guy, but it makes you feel good in these big air-conditioned places with glossy floors and fancy cars on the showroom floor. I always remember just kind of Mall of America, Burlington, Cascade Center malls, but these really blow it away, you know. In the heat, sometimes it's nice to get off the street and just wander around. And the kid loves it. You know, you can see their reflection in the floor, glass, nice and air conditioned. Kind of materialistic, but anyway. Yeah, I'll just stop here. I guess this is a nice parting word. I just think America needs to start thinking about what the hell they're doing. Because, you know, there was this school bus full of school children, 83 school children bombed by the Americans in Yemen. Now, what is America doing in Yemen? I mean, they don't even really bother televising it or even giving any reason why they're just air bombing villages and killing civilians indiscriminately. And Americans don't care. They don't care about, you know, Obama overthrew Libya, assassinated the leader of Libya, a good leader. He was he was doing some amazing things for that country. And so my video went out, but I wanted to finish what I have to say. I was talking about, well, we'll look at the transgendered beauty here. I don't know if she's transgender. Her name is Estee Lauder. No, anyway, I was talking about the leader of Libya, Gaddafi, who they demonized our whole life, but I realized, you know, why they did that, right? He had a great system for Africa. Libya was the crown jewel of Africa, had free healthcare, free education, had, if you got married, you got money to buy a house, get a car. Everybody was making pretty good wages, and it was really developing. They were going to put a big water project through Africa. They wanted to put a new currency system in. That was the real reason they got rid of them, Rothschilds. And okay, well, I guess my camera's doesn't have enough storage, but I deleted some videos. All right, so I just wanted to talk real briefly here about the American Empire, and there it is, M for Empire. And there's Starbucks, which is Starbucks and McDonald's go together these days, I guess. And that's how edgy Starbucks is. So they buy the coffee from Indonesia, and then they sell it to Indonesia. I guess they just put it in some water and charge $4 for it. But people like it. Whatever. I think it's terrible coffee. Way overpriced. Anyway, I just want to talk about. I don't know if I got cut off, but I was just saying we just opened a restaurant, my wife and I, Middle Eastern food, which I love. Lebanese food is particularly good, and I hired these guys that I met from Jakarta. They're refugees from Iran, and the nicest guys, young guys. They were actually of Afghan descent, but they lived in Iran and Afghanistan are neighbors. Apparently there's a little bit of a second-class citizen status if you're born in Afghanistan. But anyway, one of the kids' dad died from the George Bush Taliban. You know, George Bush put that together, the Taliban. Afghanistan used to be a modern country, and before the Russians and the Americans got in there. There's a lot of minerals and stuff they want down there, and then heroin. They want the opium. That's why they're down there. And but anyway, they destroyed the country. But his dad got murdered by the Taliban, and but he went to Iran. His mom was able to get citizenship in Iran, but they became refugees. There's a lot of refugees in Asia from all this Middle Eastern chaos. And but I just wanted to talk a little bit about demonization of these countries, which is it's not very honest to let these the government demonize all the people in a country for political reasons, and then Americans, they're so dumb that they believe it, and then they start demonizing and repeating like parrots. And the people I've met from Iran, they're quite lovely people, really great people, and it'd be a real tragedy to see yet another country go down without America really even. I just think it's time that Americans need to wake up from their slumber. And if they really think they're living in a free country, then you got to respect. Freedom has some cost, and it's not sending your soldiers over to die for the Rothschild banking institutions and the military-industrial complex. It's about respecting other people's cultures and getting your own shit together. So yeah, I think it's going to be a terrible future here soon in America, and I hope that you guys can get your shit together. I'm not going to be part of it because I just don't think I can't support it. I'm not going to pay taxes to a Nazi state, and especially not 40% of my wages. That's kind of ridiculous. You shouldn't be paying income tax. You know, you don't have to pay income tax. It's voluntary, so you don't have to pay. Just letting you know that. So if you don't pay, they can try to scare you, but they can't legally make you pay. So might be a good time to stop paying your taxes. I'd never pay. Even if I lived there, I wouldn't pay because it's a scam. And you say, Americans always say, oh, the roads, the highways, you know, where would the money come from if you didn't pay your taxes? Well, the money for the road development comes from gas tax. So that pays for the roads. Anyway, we got to stop building freeways and start building our minds, and build some palaces in our minds, or else it's going to be a bloody chaos and destruction. That's my opinion. You're welcome to leave some comments in the comment section.